A brand new adventure begins as old veterans and new trainers come together in renewed battle for the top. There can only be one champion. Will you be able to make the climb up Victory Road to claim the throne? Taking you along for the journey, this is the Weekly RemARC!
Hello everyone and welcome to the Weekly RemARC. I'm your host, the best guest and formerly best host of the Weekly RemARC, Dart. Nice to be back. I'm here filling in for Dozer, who is just a little too busy with schoolwork to be able to record this specific week. He is going to be recording other podcasts, so you will hear his somewhat annoying voice later in the week. Did I say that out loud? Anyway, welcome to the Weekly RemARC, the officially unofficial podcast of the Arena Revolution Championship. Now, for those of you who don't know what the Arena Revolution Championship is, or ARC for short, it is a semi-competitive Pokemon League. Not a draft or a gym league, it is something completely different. It is a league where trainers are restricted to 3 Pokemon types of their choosing and battle in a revolving schedule of metagames. That includes everything from your standard VGC and Battle Spot doubles to your unique Smoggin tiers like overused and rarely used, and even the weird and wacky like Little Cup and Monotype. You have to master them all if you want a shot at being the champion here. Do you have what it takes? All battles are done on Pokemon Showdown, and Discord is required. It's where you'll get all your information on who you're battling and, more importantly, figure out a time with them on when to battle. And for the quick picks, you can see our FAQ in the rulebook, which you can find somewhere on the Weekly RemARC website. You pick 3 types in a metagame to specialize in. Each week you battle using a Pokemon, restricted to your 3 types, and fight a trainer in either one of your chosen metagames or your opponent's chosen format. It is scheduled a lot like WWE or MMA, and we keep win-loss records, and trainers are ranked on a ladder for the purpose of molding a cycle. Then, when the next cycle starts, win-loss records reset in order to give trainers new opportunities, but the champions, contenders, etc. all carries over. Now, moving on to the stuff that you're probably here to actually listen to. That is the announcements, the important stuff, the things that you come here to listen to because you don't want to bother reading the announcements tab in Discord. It's alright, we've all been there. First up is the hierarchy status. Hashok and Venge have both moved up to Ace Trainer. Dragonheart has moved up to Rising Star. Smets is joining him in Rising Star. Only difference is he's moving down from Ace to get there. And Dozer is moving down from Rising Star into the Youngsters. He has found the Fountain of Youth and has started to de-age. In the Name the Pokemon poll, Arcanine finally has a name and will be joining the likes of Ren and Maki, and the Archon, whose name I'm forgetting at the moment. And his name is Reginald Kensington the Ninth, or RK9 for short. His name was suggested by Evo, and if you squint really hard and ignore the fact that Evo suggested this one and I suggested Maki, you might actually believe that it's not rigged. Did I say that out loud? The IC title shot. Abrant cashed in his IC title shot HP after having already cashed in his world title shot HP. While we don't have a rule against this action, it does feel in bad faith with our attempt at restricting world title contenders from competing for the IC championship. At this time, we recognize that this HP will expire, so here's what we'll do. Abrant was eligible at the time of cashing it, so he's get his IC title shot, maybe. For now, we're going to follow through on his world title shot, and if he is not the world champion, then we'll allow him to fight for the IC title. The Wicked standings. All trainers involved in curse matches are tracked separately for the tournament at Starcade. A tab named Wicked Standings is now available in the Arcade. The trainers with a C next to their name are the ones currently cursed. The last curse standing will earn the Wicked HP and will not be in the tournament. Inactivity. Reminder, especially to our newest trainers, missing battles in multiple weeks may result you in being placed inactive. We suggest you check your status on the roster tab every Tuesday and make sure you're not inactive if you want to participate in that week. If you see an error, please let an arcade know. Or, if you know you got put inactive and you just want to battle again, let an arcade know. Your arcades, for those of you who are not entirely aware, is Evo, myself, Otto. Wait, no, Otto's a GM, I think. No, he's an arcade. Who else is arcades? And Sai. We used to be color-coded. That's why I got thrown off a little bit. That's the last time I actually bothered to check to see exactly who was an arcade. And I'm failing. And that's all of us. I could have went to the arcade chat to see just us, but no, I had to do it the hard way by looking at general. There's a lesson to be learned here. Too bad I refused to learn it. Moving on to the Wicked. Sarakos and Dan move on with the Curse to their next opponents. But while that's happening, Marble and Otto are allowed to handpick their opponents this week. We'll see if it pays off as they attempt to climb the ladder in the Wicked standings. Week of rest. Venge continues on his supreme reign, but he's gone to Game 3 in back-to-back title defenses. Brecker is just itching for a title rematch after their grueling 250-plus turn battle a few weeks ago, but Brecker will have to wait one more week before getting a second chance at the champ. The world title will be defended again next week. And finally, the IC Championship contender, Maxi, did enough to not have to defend early, then fell into a terrible slump. Then fended off Pierre, finally nabbing a win, not counting my forfeit. So we're not letting him off the hook for another 7 weeks. Week 8.2.3, Maxi will defend the IC Championship. Who among you wants a shot? Do you enough to get our attention? Or, of course, cash in that IC title shot HP. Speaking of HPs, why don't we break down the HPs that were used this past week? You had Venge versus Smith plus powers were used by both of them, but Venge won, so he's the only one who reaped the rewards. However, that's not the worst waste of IVs and HPs we'll see this week. Brecker used conversion. He went from singles Ubers to singles Little Cup. Brunt used change of venue versus doubles, from doubles UU to doubles RU. We'll talk about how that played out later. Balzori used a plus power versus Hashok. Talk about that later. And myself, I used a change of venue versus Sean to go from singles RU to doubles VGC Moon, and they completely forgot about ARC for the rest of the week. That one's on me. But it was another forfeit because Sean never pinged me. So I don't get the L. I just look like a loser. Moving on to last week's battles, Maxi beat Pierre in the singles OU IC title match. Shiny Bidoof beat Snippety Bark in doubles UU. Sarakos beat Marble Fall in doubles OU. Draken beat Almighty Arceus in singles UU. Abrunt toppled Dozer in singles RU to take advantage of that change of venue. Brecker beat Na in singles Little Cup. Dan beat Otto in singles Monotype. Hashok beat Balzori in singles OU. Balzori not reaping the benefit of his plus power attempt, unfortunately. And then, as we already mentioned, Venge beat Sments in singles Ubers, earning a +1 BP because of the plus power. And, as already mentioned, my battle against Sean, which didn't happen. Again, I'm sorry, Sean. Some quick notes for the Game Corner. This week, we see more green than the past few weeks, with 3 perfect weeks coming from the Chimp. How did that happen? Maxi and Brecker. Drakenheart and Shiny both picked the match that didn't happen, but apart from that, they got all of their other picks right as well. This week's perfect weeks are going to Maxi, Brecker, and the Chimp. Wow, that's repeated. They nearly picked all the same battlers, but only the Chimp picked World Champion Venge. This week we have Hashok being picked a total of 10 times. Out of those 4 were 5-point picks, 2-point picks, and 2 4-point picks, and 4 were 3-point picks. With those, he got a total of 40 points, leading with 11 points before the second place Venge, who only got 29 points for the Most Trusted Award of the week. Moving on to the standings. Hashok is sitting at top of the standings. He is a solid 6-1 with 10.79 points. And then after that, Venge, Sments, Dan, and Brecker are all 5-2 with rather similar strength of schedules. The difference is the points. Venge has 10.14. Sments, despite having the same record, is only at 8.14. Dan is at 7.39, and Brecker is at 7.14. So even though they all have the same record, the difference between second and fifth is 3 whole points. Ladies and gentlemen, the importance of bonus points. The dark standings, you see Brecker sitting at the top with a 20-13 win-loss ratio with 24.24 points. I don't think Brecker's allowed to do any more dark matches, else he would ruin his perfect point score. Sean is in second at 5-4. Brant is in third with 4-2, as Otto is tied for third at 4-2. However, he has a slightly lower strength of schedule, 0.536 compared to 0.532. And then Balzori is up there with that losing record, 5-6, but he's done a lot of battles, done a lot of those dark matches. Go out and do your dark matches. Please ignore the fact that I haven't done a dark match in 2 weeks, since week 2. Not in 2 weeks, since week 2, which is worse. So I really shouldn't be telling people, but I am. Oh, wait, no. Freaking that didn't get updated. It's different. It's all different. Brecker is actually 23-15 with 27.84 points. Balzori is 9-7 with 10.13. Brant is in third, 6-3, a solid 8 points flat. Sean is in fourth, 5-4 with 5.56, and Otto is in fifth, 4-2 with 5.33. Dang it, Mugen, you had one job. You had to make the notes, update the charts, but no, you didn't want to do that. That's all right. I forgive you. I gotta update all the other ones now. The Game Corner, Brant won the week with 72 points, but 19 correct picks. Brant also had 72 points, but he got it in 20 correct picks, which means Brant won due to having more high-value picks picked. He is your Game Corner King. He gets the Game Corner King crown. Ignore the fact it's no longer called the Game Corner King and the Game Corner King crown. I still call it the Game Corner King and the Game Corner King crown because Game Corner King and Game Corner King crown is a lot more fun to say than Game Corner Champion. It makes me sad to say Game Corner Champion. But I just say Game Corner King and Game Corner King crown, and I'm right back at it. For spoiler points of the block, if my mouse wheel will cooperate with me and scroll to the right spot, making me have to actually click the movement bar. Who does that anymore? Smets spoiled 64 points. Brecker spoiled 63. Dan spoiled 57. Otto spoiled 52. Venge spoiled 51. That is a lot of spoiling. I love spoiler points. I like to see that. A lot of red this block. Holy cow. It's ridiculous. And finally, the IV leaderboard to wrap up our leaderboard. Max has 192 IVs. Brant, 162. Otto has 108. Yo Pierre has 83. And Venge is sitting there with 64. Record watch. Most incorrect picks in a block. Originally 13. And Evo. Nod and Shoes reached 13 incorrect picks for a block, both of which performed worse on tiebreakers than Evo had back in cycle 3.2. But Shoes takes the cake on this one and now knows the record with 13 incorrect picks and a .435 correct pick percentage. Honorable mentions in Game Corner Top 5s. Brecker reached number 4 in most IVs earned in a block. They also earned the number 5 spot. Sments and Brecker took over the number 4 and number 5 spots, respectively, and most points spoiled in a block. And finally, Brant earned the number 5 spot in most points in a block. There are no dark records, but looking at the league records, most consecutive world title defenses, Venge has extended his reign of dominance to 12 world title defenses. There are 3 more world title matches to be had this cycle. Will Venge make it a cool 15 defenses? And longest losing streak. originally of 8 by Sai, this record's in jeopardy. Snippety Bark is on a 7-game losing streak. I can't decide if I want to see this broken or not. On one hand, it's always cool to see streaks broken, but this is one of those streaks. This is one of those records. It's like this record and Cynical's career winning streak are the 2 records that have just been always there. It feels like every other record has been turning over every once in a while. It's not really there forever. But Cynical loves 7-0 start to her career at the very beginning of ARC and throughout the winning every single match in the first block of the first season of the first cycle. And Syracuse' 8-game losing streak have just been there. They are the rocks of the Hall of Fame. Well, the Hall of Records. It's really not a Hall of Fame. We don't have a Hall of Fame. If we were to have a Hall of Fame, who would you vote to be put in the ARC Hall of Fame? Keep in mind that the way Hall of Fames work is that you cannot induct someone who is currently active. So, for the sake of experimentation, for the sake of discussion, we'll say that if, let's say we set up this theoretical Hall of Fame, they would have to have been inactive for at least a whole cycle. That is 14 weeks. 14 weeks. Who would you vote for the Hall of Fame? Cutie Fly's the obvious. So that's my answer. I want to see what else you guys suggest. All right, so there we go. That is the topic for the week. Maybe even the whole block. What is the inaugural class of the Arena Revolution Championship Hall of Fame? Who should be on the board? Who should be voting for this stuff? I don't even know. Maybe we'll get Brecker on this. He can stop groaning about everything. We put him on the board for Hall of Fame voting. Then he'll know when it isn't rigged. All right. That is all the time I have for today. I don't know when I'll see you guys next, because I have a full-time job now, and it keeps me very, very busy. I do other things. But one of those other things is I'm working on a secret project for you guys. It's going to be a few weeks before you see it. It is not a podcast. It is something different. So don't get excited about doing podcasts. If I was doing podcasts, I would just stick to our economy. But I have something really exciting, at least what I think is really exciting, coming out to you guys. Hopefully by, we'll say, the end of April. This is the last time I'm going to mention it until about the beginning of April when I get a lot closer. The reason why it's going to take that long is because I just started it, and it is a long process. But it is ARC-related. I think you guys are going to love it. Also, podcasts. Remember, we have those open auditions going on. I mentioned our economy. That's a show we need filled because I don't have time to do that anymore. Both unfortunately and fortunately. I like the reasons why I don't have time to do it anymore. I just wish I also still had time to do that. But can't get the best of all worlds. Only the best of two. Sometimes. I don't even really get the best of any. But I'm still enjoying life. I hope you all enjoy life too. And remember, do your freaking dark matches. Dart here, signing off.